After World War II, the Allied forces made Japan revise their constitution and add an article stating that the Japanese people forever renounce war as a sovereign right of the nation and the threat or use of force as a means of settling international disputes. Then, in the 1960s, to further solidify that mandate, Japan and the U.S. signed the Treaty of Mutual Cooperation and Security, which gave assurance to Japan that the United States would defend them against any threats. It also gave the U.S. access to and control over a few military bases on Japanese land.
They want to bring back the glory days of Imperial Japan, when the country ruled much of Asia. They also want all Koreans and Chinese living in Japan expelled. But beyond the matchmaking services and marketing ploys, some ultra-nationalist elements are attaching themselves to the military's ascendancy.
全の超安心社会、これを私は取り戻すべきだと。私は世界の軍隊と同じルールで動けるようになってほしいと思う。
This group, one of 50 from the extreme right, call themselves the New Social Order and normally inhabit the internet. Now they're showing their faces on the street, all but daring the police to shut them down. They claim Japan is a US puppet state. They want to bring back the glory days of Imperial Japan, when the country ruled much of Asia. They also want all Koreans and Chinese living in Japan expelled.
The last time they came to blows was when Japan invaded China in the run-up to World War II. After Japan was defeated by the Allies, they were found guilty of war crimes that included the killing of millions of Chinese. The US forced them to adopt a constitution which renounces war and banned them from having any offensive military capabilities. Since then, pacifism has become a part of post-war Japanese culture, with the military confined to self-defense only. But now, that might be changing.
Today, the Japanese parliament approved a controversial policy to allow its military to defend allies in other nations, clearing the way for troop deployments overseas.
Voice is a growing group of ultra-nationalists called Nippon Kaigi, who have gained a lot of influence inside of Abe's government. They want to go so far as to change the constitution to allow for attack-capable forces. Akira Momochi is the group's strategic advisor.
これはですね、そもそも日本国憲法そのものが GHQ の占領下において押し付けられたものです。憲法というのはその国の歴史伝統を踏まえたものでなくてはならない。本当に日本らしさを取り戻そうということで安倍さんが登場してきたと。
Many people see this, though, as the first step in preparing Japan to go to war.
それは単なるプロパガンダ。
But the line between defense and offense is starting to blur. Japan's 2017 military budget is its biggest ever, and the self-defense forces have demonstrated that they're expanding their capabilities on land, in the air, and at sea. This is the Izumo. It's one of Japan's brand new carriers. There's a constitutional ban against Japan having aircraft carriers, and so they actually classify this as a helicopter carrier. Not only did the Izumo's commander concede that the ship could be converted into an attack vessel, but it was also recently deployed alongside an American battleship in nearby waters as a clear show of strength. These growing naval capabilities are exactly what Japan wants to project towards China, especially when it comes to their intensifying standoff over a small group of uninhabited islands. Nationalists from both countries frequently make their way out to the islands to plant their country's flag. One regular visitor is Satoru Mizushima, an influential conservative talk show host.
早速話の中に入っていきたいと思うんですけれども。
Behind us we have videos of the Senkaku Islands. What is your opinion of what's going on there right now between China and Japan?
私たちは歴史のいろんな資料とか調べて尖閣諸島が、日本の領土であるということは確信しております。まずそういうことから私たちが今、日本の領土の中で、一番侵略の危険にあるというね。
So do you think that would actually be realistic that war could break out there between Japan and China?
ナチスドイツと最も近いあるいはもっと言えばスターリンのソ連と一番近かった国がナチスと同じです。国はそこを忘れてはならないと私は思います。でそれを軍事利用しようともしていると。でこういう中で、我々が戦争をするんじゃなくて戦争を仕掛けられた時我々の国の海上自衛隊あるいは陸上自衛隊航空自衛隊が対応できる。だからこれは憲法を変えて自分の国で守らなきゃいけないっていうそういうことですね。はい。
This suspicion of an aggressive China appears to be growing as Japanese nationalists have also taken to the streets to demand a much stronger stance toward China. Tokyo. There are hundreds of people here, and what they're all protesting is Japan's relationship with China. They're all pissed off that China keeps encroaching on Japanese territory.
この領土を中国はこの虎視眈々とこれを侵略しようと。だから私たちは尖閣諸島を
We chartered a boat to the Senkakus to see the disputed territories ourselves. The Japanese Coast Guard intercepted our boat and jumped on board. Konnichiwa.
船長さんにお話ししたいんですけどよろしいですか？
So first, can I just ask you, why did you stop us?
すいません。今、船長さんと I want to talk to
the captain. I understand.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand it because I don't think we're breaking any laws.
船長さんご存知だと思いますけど、今日は漁業見習いと認定されていない漁業者じゃない方を乗せていらっしゃいますので、この船は私たちの方で石垣港の方に戻したいと思いますので。
The Coast Guard cited an 80-year-old fishing regulation as grounds to turn us away. But based on their past actions, they're concerned that an incident in these waters could spark an actual conflict. So much so that these same Coast Guard vessels will physically block civilian boats from reaching the islands. And the hostility on the water is escalating. China has been claiming, constructing, and militarizing islands in the nearby South China Sea, dangerously amping up tensions with the US and its allies in Asia. But if local hostilities did boil over into conflict, it would have major global consequences, because the original post-war agreements also stipulated that in return for Japan's pacifism, the US is legally bound to defend them.
Japan is looking to amend its pacifist constitution to give its military more bite. Japan has already begun to rearm itself in ways never seen before since the end of World War II. In December last year, the Japanese government announced that its defense budget will be increased to a record $47 billion for the fiscal year that began in April this year. Among others, the allocation will be used to purchase 105 F-35A stealth jets and acquire Japan's first aircraft carriers since World War II.
それはアジアの国々は軍事国家日本によってどれだけ侵略され、どれだけ痛めつけられてきたかっていうことをまだみんなちゃんと覚えてますよね、70数年前。だって中国だって朝鮮だってもちろんベトナムだってシンガポールだって、全部日本は侵略したわけで、軍事国家日本がまた復活したら大変なことになると思ってるじゃないですか。その割に日本は反省してないんですよね。
The dramatic shift in Japan's security policy has sent shockwaves around the region, particularly in China and South Korea, two countries that suffered the brunt of Japan's military aggression in the 20th century.